Howdy do and welcome back, everybody. It's that time of year. It's the harvest. It's the end of my garden. I didn't really do a whole lot of gardening videos this year, mostly just because I didn't plan a whole lot of anything different. I did slack off on the corn because I haven't had such good luck with corn in the last few years. But I planted some cucumber, some squash as always. There's some tomatoes buried in these weeds back here. The tomatoes didn't do as well as usual because I didn't buy them from my usual grower, but they still did all right. They're still out there producing. I'll show a close-up of those here in a minute, but right now I am going after my pumpkins. You can see there's a couple here, and I just want to let you know that such a small plot of pumpkin. I would say this is probably 6 plants, 8 plants maybe at most. They're planted in these ATV tires just to kind of keep heat on them, and I've cut out the inner ring so that they have more space than just your average tire, and they don't hold the tire liquid. So but anyway, so what we got is probably, I'd call it a 10 yard by 10 yard section out of my, let's see, 20 by 30 yard garden maybe. And that's kind of being generous. Yeah, so we got a bunch of pumpkins out of it, and they all turned out rather generous in size. So let me give you a close-up of some of them. So here's what we got out of the garden so far. This is my size 10.5 shoe. So a reasonably sized pumpkin. That's pretty big. Probably cost you, I don't know. Let's see how much this thing gonna weigh. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. That's probably 8 to 10 pound pumpkin. My pumpkins don't weigh a whole lot because I think they're jack-o'-lantern pumpkins. You can see, I got a little guy there, but there's a big one back in here. It's still green, so I've did my darndest to try and leave it attached to the vine. See, it kind of looks like a watermelon back in here. And again, that's probably about the same size as the one that I just showed you that was orange. That one's not quite ready yet, and the vine is still pretty green. But you can see why I came in here and harvested. You can see these vines here. They're all starting to die back. The temperatures have dropped into the 40s, 50s, and then we're not really getting above 60 something usually in the day. Today's an exception. I think we're about 70 something. So yeah, we got quite a few pumpkins out of here. And let me, since I got you, I'll show you what else I did this year. Right here we've got zucchinis. So this is one of my beds from last year. I think I had, I don't even remember what I had, but last year this was filled with something else. This year I just filled it with zucchini, and I've gotten probably several hundred pounds of zucchini out of here. The stuff, when it starts going, it just produces and produces. So here we go. Here's my tomatoes. We've got 6 plants that I can see right now. I think I had planted 7 or 8. A couple of them didn't do so well, died back, just didn't want to go. Even worse yet is, you can see the grass is kind of taken over my eggplant back here, and I've got about 6 plants back there. I think they require a little bit more heat than what we got this year. They really liked it the last couple of years that we've had some really high heat, high temperatures in Oregon here. So yeah, I think eggplant really likes them warm temperatures. Of course, we got the mint, which I forgot to harvest this year. Looks like I could still probably harvest some of it. I don't know how potent it'll be because it's kind of late. And in this bed we had Oh, you can actually see the ferns back in here. See them right there? Those are asparagus ferns from, I think last year I planted them. And this was all tomatoes in here. So this year I've got basil. I had cilantro already cut it out there. That was in a video. But the basil, cilantro, and then of course our asparagus ferns that are coming back. You got to give those a few years. I actually think I managed to kill, yeah, that's right, kill horseradish, because I don't think my horseradish is coming up in there anymore. But my asparagus ferns are doing okay. You can see them hanging out in that red and blue box. Let's see, then we'll come around. And of course, we did green beans this year. And I had said that there was enough on here that I could have just kept picking and picking. And here's my proof. I mean, I stopped picking. We got all our canning done. And we were just using it for fresh. And yeah. Nice long big green beans. Definitely in my video before I stated that you want to grow string beans, not bush beans, but string beans. They do so much better. They produce so much better. Tried growing bush beans and I got a few, but I would always have a problem with them. And of course in here we had some volunteer pumpkins. They were seeds that kind of fell out and we're with the string beans. Pumpkins and green beans, they go very well together. Pumpkins try to stay along the ground, and of course the string beans climb. So as long as the string beans climb and the pumpkins have somewhere to be, yeah. Now there's a, oh, what do you call it? I think it's how the Native Americans used to plant, is they had green beans and corn and squash all planted together, because the squash and the green beans and corn all kind of like formed a perfect circle of feeding each other and growing well with each other, and somehow they all benefit each other. Not an expert on the matter, but definitely something to take into consideration. And what we got over here, these are my Egyptian walking onions, which have been taken over by grass. But as you can see, there's a whole lot growing in here. Get in here, you can see these are the little starts. And then we've got some that are still hanging out on their bulb set. So what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to come back in here and I'm gonna have to weed and spray and fill and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, that's the tour of the year's end for the garden here. And of course we got the 2 strawberry beds over there. Yeah. Oh, and my rhubarb's doing rather well. It's still in that tire. It's spread to the point where I'm gonna have to get in there and tear it apart and separate it and do some moving around so that I can plant more rhubarb. My wife loves the stuff. She strips it, cuts it up, and puts it in the freezer. Makes great cakes, pies, and sweet treats and breads and. So, all right, and now we'll go ahead and we'll show you what we got. Okay, here they are. Look at this haul of pumpkins. This all came from that one small gardening spot. And of course, this doesn't include the 2 or 3 green pumpkins I have out there. And there's a little orange pumpkin that still has a good vine that I'm gonna let it try and get a little bit bigger. Okay. But this is it. I think I'll pick out the biggest pumpkin and weigh it and let you know in a short how heavy that pumpkin is. Well, see what kind of trouble I can get into tomorrow. Later, everybody.